All right, I thought I'd start off the program today talking about an interesting article that was published last week in the journal Gastroenterology. But before I get to the details of the article, let me set the stage just a little bit. For those of you who have listened to myself, or Dr. Wallach, or Dr. Glidden over the years, you know that we're always talking about the importance of digestive health, specifically the importance of the health of what is called the microbiome. That is the world of bacteria that live inside our digestive tract, the technical term for the universe of bacterial organisms that live in our guts, the microbiome, or some people call it the microbiota. Imagine this, a coating of slime, probably green. Green slime lines our digestive tract, the tube that runs from our mouth to the other end. But this coating is not merely slime, it's alive slime, it's dynamic, throbbing slime. It's a veneer of slime, of growing goo that lives and dies in response to its environment. It coats our digestive tract, and this slime is composed of countless critters, countless microbiomes, trillions upon trillions upon trillions of these bacteria, which are kind of a cross between animals and plants. Regular people call them germs, doctors call them bacteria. These bacteria are important for numerous reasons. Most importantly, they help us digest our food. Without the right numbers of bacteria and types of bacteria, our protein and our fat and our sugars can remain undigested or partially digested in the intestines, where they can emit gases and poisons and really wreak havoc on digestive system health. These bacteria that live in the gut get us energy, and they get us nutrients from the foods that we eat. And these bacteria are actually little vitamin factories, little nutrient factories producing vitamins B1 to help us process our sugars, and they make vitamin B2 to prevent migraine headaches, and vitamin B3 to improve brain health and skin health. And B3 is also important for the health of our heart. Bacteria in the gut make pantothenic acid for helping us process fats, and vitamin B6 to help us improve blood flow to the brain, which reduces the risk of strokes and heart disease. And perhaps most importantly, these bacteria that live in the gut make vitamin K, which is really important and very difficult to obtain from foods, but plays a super important role when it comes to the health and efficiency of almost every single cell in the body. Vitamin K is important for calcium. It's important for building strong bones. In fact, no matter how much calcium you take, without this important probiotic-derived nutrient, vitamin K, osteoporosis and other manifestations of calcium deficiency become much more likely. And these good bacteria in the gut do a lot more than just make vitamins. Last week's article in the journal Gastroenterology, a highly regarded scientific journal about the digestive system, last week's article was very important according to the story, which was a follow-up and a verification of yet another scientific article about messed up gut bacteria. According to this article, dysbiosis, as it's called, messed up gut bacteria, is one of the causes of something called metabolic syndrome, which is basically a catch-all phrase that refers to anything that can go wrong in the body. In other words, messed up gut bacteria, the wrong kinds of gut bacteria, or not enough of these gut bacteria, according to the journal Gastroenterology, can be responsible for pretty much anything that can go wrong in the body. The term syndrome is used whenever there's a whole bunch of wide-ranging, diverse symptoms that appear to be caused by the same problem. Metabolic syndrome is associated with high blood pressure and changes in blood fats and heart disease. Even cancer can be caused by metabolic syndrome. Dementias, Alzheimer's dementias, and movement disorders, and Parkinson's disease, and osteoporosis. And it's pretty much a who's who list of anything that can go wrong in the body. And this is technically called metabolic syndrome. Doctors will tell you that metabolic syndrome is associated with changes in blood sugar and with diabetes, but according to this article, metabolic syndrome can be caused by messed up gut bacteria, or as it's called, dysbiosis. This is so important, you guys. If you go to a doctor who understands biochemistry, he may tell you that metabolic syndrome and your high blood pressure and your high cholesterol and your changes in blood fats, etc., are caused by problems in blood sugar, if he's savvy and if he's hip, but he may not know that the major cause, or at least one of the major causes of metabolic syndrome and one of the major causes of messed up blood sugar is changes in gut bacteria, so-called dysbiosis. So what do you do? Well, there's lots you can do. For one thing, we can eat fermented foods. Fermented foods like miso and tempeh and sauerkraut, fermented beets, fermented pickles. Fermented foods can provide the body with these bacteria. Fermented foods are simply foods that have bacteria in them. By eating these kinds of foods, we can help replace the bacteria in our gut, preventing dysbiosis and ultimately preventing problems with blood sugar and ultimately preventing all the signs of metabolic syndrome. And of course, you can also supplement with good bacteria, and we talk about this all the time on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. Supplementing with the BioLumin Nightly Essence, in my opinion, is a must, not optional. True, good bacteria are not part of the Mighty 90 Essential Nutrients, and we absolutely need the Mighty 90 Essential Nutrients, but we also need to be supplementing with these good bacteria, especially if we're dealing with any of the signs of metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, changes in blood fats, heart disease, cancer, skin problems, bone problems, etc. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I'll be sitting in for Dr. Wallach for the next hour or so, and we're proud and honored to take your phone calls at 831-685-1080, 831-685-1080, or 888-379-2552, 888-379-2552. Toll free. Got lines open for you. We'd love to hear from you. We'll take a break and come back with more good health information on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network right after this. And I will be sitting in for the next, 42 minutes or so, as I always am on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program, with my good friend and colleague and partner in crime, no, not really, partner in nutrition, Douglas Winfrey. What's up, Douglas?
Yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about cancer, as I found a Fox News story here. That's headline, Fat to Blame for 500,000 Cancers a Year, according to the World Health Organization. They say that it's due to people being overweight or obese, and the problem is particularly acute in the North America region. This study was published in the journal Lancet Oncology and was put out by the International Agency for Research in Cancer. They said a high body mass, or BMI, has now become a major cancer risk factor, responsible for some 3.6% or 481,000 new cancer cases in 2012. According to the IARC's director, Christopher Wild, says the number of cancers linked to obesity and overweight is expected to rise globally along with the economic development. Findings underline the importance of helping people maintain a healthy weight. The study found that for now, North America has by far the worst cancer problem linked to weight, with some 111,000 obesity-related cancers diagnosed in 2012, accounting for 23% of global cancer cases linked to high BMI. They say in Europe, it's to blame for about 6.5% of all new cancers, around 65,000 cases. In most Asian countries, a portion of fat-related cancers is much smaller. In China, for example, about 50,000 cancer cases are associated with being too fat, accounting for about 1.6% of the new cancers there. They say in Africa, on the other hand, it's only 1.5% of the cases. And they say having a high BMI increases the risk of developing cancers of the esophagus, colon, rectum, kidney, pancreas, gallbladder, postmenopausal breast, ovary, and endometrium. A BMI score of 25 or more is considered overweight, 30 or more is obese. According to Melina Arnold, who was a co-author on the study, noted that women are disproportionately affected. Say postmenopausal breast cancer, for example, the most common women's cancer worldwide. Findings suggest 10% of the cases could have been prevented by not being overweight. Wow.
That's amazing. You know what? The latest statistics I heard, 100 million Americans overweight or obese. Or obese.
That's about a third. There was a new research came out recently that found that the original was done. The original studies were done by people. It was part of that. A larger study where they were just questioning people, and what they found was people were overestimating their height, so thus the BMI was off, and then they find the numbers are even bigger, than they originally thought.
Do you know about the kids? Have you heard about kids obesity?
Oh yeah, a third of them are obese.
This is craziness, and fatty liver disease in children. Oh my goodness! But you know what? There's some easy ways to lose weight. You lost a bunch of weight in the last a couple years ago. You lost 30 or 40 pounds. Free. Yep, I lost 50 pounds, and I'll tell you how I lost my weight. I want to hear how you did it too, aside from the gluten-free thing. And you know what? Maybe we can open up the lines to some callers who lost weight, and they can share some of their strategies as well. 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. Toll free if you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs. If you lost some weight, or if you lost a lot of weight, I'd like to hear how you did it. Share with our listeners, maybe. All right, we're back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I'm Pharmacist Ben along with Doug Winfrey, and we've got a couple lines open for you at 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552, 888-379-2552. We're talking a little bit about weight loss, appropriate during this holiday season. A lot of people are going to want to lose weight here in a couple of weeks. Coming up in a couple of weeks or in a couple of months, you're going to get on that scale at the beginning of January and go, oh my God, what the heck happened? But there's lots of ways to lose weight. Of course, the easiest way to lose weight is not to gain it in the first place. But if you are 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, there's lots of ways that you can lose weight. One of the most important is what I did. I lost 50 pounds. Remember when I was a little bit blubbery there not too long ago?
I recall that. Yeah, I was, before I went gluten-free, I didn't have a scale at home, but a few months before that, I don't think I was any smaller. I weighed myself at a friend's house, and I was 278 pounds. 270,
you're about 6'2"?
About 6'3".
Dude, you're like a
it was shocking because I was realized, man, I'm just a few pounds away from being 300 pounds.
That's scary.
And when I was in college, I was the same height, and I weighed 185.
You were 100 pounds overweight, essentially? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You reach a point where you refuse you just reach that point. You refuse to gain any more weight. That's what happened to me. I just refused to gain any more weight.
Well, I went gluten-free because I started getting some psoriasis and things that I'd never had skin issues prior to that. I was hearing Dr. Wallach talk to people on the radio show, and I'm like, well, maybe I need to go gluten-free. And so I went gluten-free, and I think the biggest thing that helped me lose weight was that I stopped drinking beer. Because I was drinking a couple, 3 beers a night, and that's like liquid fat.
Did you replace it with anything, or you just stopped?
I just stopped, and I also didn't know what I could eat safely, and it was at the time of year where here in California we have some of our best weather, so I was barbecuing out a lot, so I was just eating a lot of grilled chicken with salads and things like that, and I actually had people coming up to me and going, dude, are you all right? Did you get cancer or something? Because
I dropped losing so much weight?
Yeah, I dropped 40, 50 pounds in 2 months without even really trying.
Yeah, but if you had cancer, you were looking good. You were looking real good, probably, right?
Yeah, it was just the sudden weight loss, and my clothes were hanging on me, and so people were concerned.
I went from a 32 waist to a 34 to a 36. I was about to go to a 38, and I was like, no way, that is not going to happen. And you know what I did? I was always doing nutritional supplements, but I got on it big time, really hardcore. I started using the Beyond Tangy Tangerine throughout the day. I was doing it once a day, but I started doing it throughout the day. And I found that, like most people, I hear this all the time. I know you do too, Douglas. Once you start using nutritional supplements, you just don't feel like eating as much. You're filled much more rapidly, and your hunger goes away normally. It's not like you're on this endless loop of eating and stopping eating and then eating more and then stopping and then eating more and stopping. I found myself after almost every meal, within half an hour, I'd be in the refrigerator looking for food, looking for something else to eat. And once I started using the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Healthy Start Pack and the Ultimate Daily, I just noticed that it was much easier for me to not eat. I didn't have to struggle. There was no willpower that was involved. And I've said this many times before, I have zero willpower, like many people. I don't even like the word willpower or the phrase willpower. And I found that by using a nutritional supplement program, I didn't have to use willpower, and I just didn't feel hungry, and the weight naturally came off. And we hear this all the time, even though we don't talk about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine as being a weight loss product. One of the first things that people notice once they start using the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and all the other longevity products is you just don't feel like eating as much, and the weight drops off of you. And it's especially a good idea to start your meals off with a little Beyond Tangy Tangerine, or to sip on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine while you're eating. Not only will you be getting the nutrients that will help you digest your food and utilize and absorb the nutrients in the food, but you'll find that you're filled much more quickly, and it won't require willpower. It won't require forcing yourself away from the table. All right, our number today is 831-685-1080, 888-379-2552. Did you lose weight in the last year, or have you lost a bunch of weight recently? Let us know how you did it. Share with us and share with our listeners how you lost your weight. Or, of course, if you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, you're welcome to call us, 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. I'm Pharmacist Ben, along with Doug Winfrey, sitting in for Dr. Wallach today. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network. Okay, we are back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. And you are too, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Pharmacist Ben. If you're in the Santa Cruz, Monterey, San Francisco area, I'll be doing a couple talks next week, December 2nd. That's Wednesday, December 2nd, 7 p.m. I'm sorry, Tuesday, December 2nd, 7 p.m., 1441 Canyon Del Rey at the Embassy Suites, Monterey. And then the next night, Wednesday, December 3rd, 5630 Soquel Drive in Soquel, Santa Cruz, at the Innerlight Ministries, and that's at 7 p.m. as well. If you're interested in RSVPing, or you just want more information, call Kevin Hurley, 831-234-6482. And if you're new CEO, I'll be doing a personal meet and greet and answering questions on Thursday night at Live Oak Hall in Santa Cruz on December 4th. Again, call Kevin Hurley, 831-234-6482 if you want more information. I think it's time to hit our phones. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number, 888-379-2552, toll free. If you've lost weight in the last year or so, you lost a bunch of weight and you want to share with our listeners how you did that, we'd like to hear from you, 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. Of course, if you have questions about the longevity products or formulations, ingredients, health challenges, you want to get off your meds or help a loved one get off their medications and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you, 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552, toll free. Time to hit our phones. Let's take our first phone call today, Douglas.
All right, let's head to Texas. And Alaric, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
What's up, Alaric?
Yes, I'd like to ask of your opinion about something.
Yes.
I've been listening to you for a few months now. I have edema in my feet.
Yes.
Now, when I went to the medical doctors before, they said something about there might be blood in my urine, and that might say that my kidneys are starting to kind of fail.
Okay.
And I was wondering what could...
You want some help with that? Okay, here's the deal. Kidneys filter the blood. So anytime you got a kidney problem, you got a blood problem. Edema is a sign that the blood is not moving around as efficiently as it should, and the liquid is starting to leak out of the vessels and sinking to the bottom of your body. That's what edema in the bottom of the feet is. It usually means the circulatory system, the blood, is not moving around in a circle. The circulatory system is basically a description, a term that describes the circle that the blood makes from your heart to your body, rest of your body, and then back up to your heart again. When it doesn't make the return trip as efficiently, the fluids will start to leak out of the blood vessels, and they'll pool up in the bottom of at the bottom of your body, and this can indeed be associated with kidney problems. The number one reason why we get kidney problems and why we get blood problems is sugar, blood sugar that is, and the excess ingestion of sugar. Digestive issues don't help either, and that's where that whole microbiome that we talked about at the beginning of the program come in. So you want to regard your problems, Alaric, is that how you said your name? Tell me how you say your name.
Yes.
Alaric, very pretty name, by the way. You sound like a New Yorker, though, Alaric, not a Texan.
I am.
You're a New Yorker, right? I could tell that. I can always tell my New York colleagues. Anyway, circulatory system, blood sugar, number one, and digestive health, number two. So get on the sweeties. Always, that's the first thing to think about when you have blood sugar problems. Even if you haven't been told you're diabetic, by the way, you could very well have blood sugar problems. Most Americans do after, say, the age of 30 or 40, regardless of what their diagnosis is or what the doctors told them. So treat yourself like a diabetic. Use the sweeties, number one. Of course, the Healthy Start Pack goes without saying. There's another product that we have, and I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called the Fucoidan Z, or the Z Radical, which is a liquid version of the Fucoidan Z. One of the neat things about the Fucoidan Z, which is marketed as a arthritis product or as a joint health product, but one of the really neat things about the active ingredient in the Fucoidan Z and the Z Radical, the active ingredient is called Fucoidan. One of the neat things about the Fucoidan Z or the Z Radical is it can help you stabilize your blood sugar, and it can be very important for helping with the digestive system. It can act as an anti-obesity agent. It can help fill you up so you don't eat as much food, and it can help strengthen the digestive tract lining, which is really, really important for all digestive health issues. So getting on the Fucoidan Z and the Z Radical is another thing that you might want to consider. A couple more ideas for you. Don't go away, Alaric, and we'll finish up when we come back, okay? 831-685-1080 is our priority line number, 888-379-2552, toll-free. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network. We'll be back right after this. We're talking to Alaric in Texas about edema and possible kidney disease. By the way, Alaric, do you know who the original Alaric was? You know the story of Alaric?
He sacked Rome for a couple of years.
Yeah, he did. He destroyed Rome. Alaric was the leader of the barbarians that destroyed Rome. Cool name. Anyway, Alaric, you want to think of a circulatory problem. That's the number one reason why you're going to have edema, and also kidney problems. And one of the major reasons for that is blood sugar, as I was saying. So even if you haven't been diagnosed as a diabetic, the chances are your blood sugar is starting to get a little messed up. It's not uncommon. So you're going to want to use the Sweeties, and then you're going to also want to make sure you're on the Healthy Start Pack, and you're also going to want the Z-Radical or the Fucoidan Z. This is important for all blood sugar issues as well as digestive issues for the reasons I outlined before we went to our break. And then one more thing that you want to consider is the Ultimate Daily Multiple Vitamin, and Doc recommends 9 to 12 tablets a day. Just take a bunch of them. Chances are that you're malnourished, and the Ultimate Daily is going to provide you with the basic nutrients that you need. So you got your Healthy Start Pack, you got your Sweeties, you have your Fucoidan Z or your Z-Radical, and then your Ultimate Daily. And if you want to throw one more thing in, you might want to toss in the BioLumin Nightly Essence, my all-time favorite probiotic, which is important for all health issues, digestive health issues, and others as well, as we talked about at the beginning of the program, because of this connection between good bacteria in the gut and so-called metabolic syndrome, which includes, by the way, blood problems, circulatory problems, blood pressure issues, as well as kidney issues. And thanks so much for your call, Alaric. Happy holidays, and I hope we helped you out. Who's next on the line?
Okay, let's head to Illinois. And William, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, William.
Oh.
Greetings.
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
What's up? How can we help you, my friend?
Okay, well, I got a nephew here. He's got prostate cancer.
Okay.
And I want to know what the best thing for him to use that.
How old is he?
He's 50, I think he's about 55, I think, 6.
Okay, well, it's not uncommon. The prostate is a small little gland, muscular type of gland that sits underneath your bladder, and its major role is to make components of sperm, and prostate disease and prostate cancer and prostate BPH, inflamed prostates, and prostatitis. These are all very common things that happen to us as we get older. The main thing you want to consider when you have a prostate problem is fats and minerals. The prostate is very responsive to fats in the diet, fatty vitamins, and it's also responsive to specific minerals which require fat absorption. So first and foremost, we got to focus on how well the body is absorbing fats. This is for all prostate health issues that don't involve bacteria, that is. There's bacterial infections that sometimes occur. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about benign prostatic hypertrophy, or BPH, which is an inflamed prostate or prostate cancer. You want to focus on fats and fat absorption. That means the BioLumin Nightly Essence, number 1, and the Ultimate Enzymes, number 2. BioLumin Nightly Essence, 3 in the morning, 3 at night. Ultimate Enzymes after all your meals, or at least with all your meals, and then using a little apple cider vinegar to activate the Ultimate Enzymes. The Fucoidan Z and the Z-Radical are also very anti-cancer. In fact, that's their claim to fame. If you go on the internet and just search Fucoidan and cancer, you'll find all kinds of studies that talk about how the active ingredient in the Fucoidan Z and the Z-Radical fight cancer. You might also want to try the Restart product, the beta-glucan, which is also very effectively anti-cancer. And then, of course, the Healthy Start Pack, that goes without saying, especially the essential fatty acids. The Ultimate EFAs contain something called GLA and another ingredient called omega-3, which can have anti-cancer, anti-prostate cancer properties and be very helpful for the prostate. There's also a little bit of vitamin E in there, too, and vitamin E is also important for prostate health. 2 important minerals for prostate health are zinc and selenium. You'll get zinc in the ProstFX product as well. You might also want to start eating some pumpkin seeds. Seeds in general are a good source of zinc. And by the way, there's pumpkin seed extract in the ProstFX product too. So using the ProstFX is important. And then absolutely positively, make sure you're on the Ultimate Selenium, or your nephew's on the Ultimate Selenium, probably about 400 to 600 micrograms a day. Selenium is powerfully anti-cancer. It helps support the body's own cancer-fighting system, the body's own cancer-fighting chemistry. And then selenium is also very important for prostate health. So the Ultimate Selenium is important too. Got lots of great ideas for you, and of course eliminating the fried foods and the fatty foods and the deep fried foods especially. That's super important for prostate health. Think fats when you think prostate. That means fatty vitamins, that means essential fatty acids, that means fat digestion, that means minerals, and that means staying away from yucky fried fatty especially deep-fried fatty foods. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it very much. Let's see who's next on the line.
Let's head to California. And Stephen, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Yo, Stephen. What's going on? Stephen? I don't hear Stephen.
Going once, going twice. Let's head over to Washington. And Kathy, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, Kathy.
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, I believe I talked with you last week about my friend.
Okay.
She had a stroke, and she's a diabetic type 2, and she had high blood pressure. So what you put her on is the pack, the starter pack.
Yeah.
And the Z-Radical.
Okay.
And she was on the D-Stress.
Okay.
And the Ultimate Daily.
Okay.
Okay. So, but she said her blood sugar shot up high. And
after what? After she did what? When did the blood sugar shoot up high?
She said that she took all of the minerals. And
we need to know what made her blood sugar shoot up high, because I don't know. I can't imagine what supplements would do that of the ones that you mentioned.
And I'm with you. So I was telling her, I said, well, I just don't think. I said, I'll call in and ask her so that I can get verification of what I'm saying to her. I said, I don't think minerals and vitamins.
I don't think that would do it. No, I don't think that would do it. What I'd like you to do, though, is have her do, take the supplements one by one and test her blood sugar after each supplement and see what happens. And then we have a better picture. But I don't think that doesn't sound like that would be the case. What about the sweeties? Not on the sweeties?
Yeah, I asked her, I said, did you take the sweeties? And she said she did. But because only one that I was really maybe concerned about would be the tangerine orange. I said, but they have thousands of people.
There's no sugar in there. There's no sugar in there.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
I don't know if I'd want more information. Have her do them one by one, and then see what happens with her blood sugar, and that way she can isolate if indeed there is a supplement for some strange reason that's doing that. Have her drinking lots of water. This is one of the hidden secrets that you don't hear a lot about. When we talk about high blood sugar, what we really mean is high blood sugar concentration. That means sugar to liquid, or the sugar to water in the blood, which means the more water you drink, the more dilute your blood sugar concentration is going to be. So if you drink more water, that can help lower your blood sugar concentration. So make sure she's hydrated, really well hydrated. I find a lot of diabetic patients are ignoring their water intake. In fact, I find a lot of people ignoring their water intake. So have her do her supplements with lots and lots of water, number one, and have her do lots and lots of water anyway. And that's a really neat little trick to lower your blood sugar naturally and in a non-toxic fashion and cheaply as well. And by the way, this is especially important, not just with meals, but also first thing in the morning. We've gone to the bathroom a couple of times, we've lost some fluid, and our blood sugar tends to be very concentrated. So by drinking water first thing in the morning, you can lower your blood sugar concentration. So I hope that helps you, ma'am. Have her drinking water with her supplements, and then have her isolating or doing each supplement specifically so she can isolate which supplement is causing the problem, if indeed one is causing the problem. Thanks so much for your call. Appreciate it. 831-685-1080 is your priority line number. 888-379-2552. Got a couple lines open for you, and we got one more segment to talk to you. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, or if you lost some weight and you want to share with our listeners how you did that, we'd love to hear from you. 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. I'm Pharmacist Ben, along with Doug Winfrey, sitting in for Doc today. We'll be back right after this. Who's next on the line, Doug?
Let's head to Iowa. And Mitch, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Welcome, Mitch. What's up, my friend?
Doc, I got Lyme disease years and years ago. It devastated my immune system because I was working in chemicals and what have you, in solvents. And once I discovered it, I was pretty much almost dead when I discovered I had it. My immune system through the years has never come back because I can tell when I get bacteria and viruses because I can't sleep at night because my arms and hands are buzzing.
Want some help? Want some help with that, my friend?
Buddy, I'm all ears.
Let me give you some help. Okay, first of all, you're making an assumption that isn't serving you. You're assuming that your depressed immune system is linked to the Lyme disease that you had before, and there's nothing you could do about the Lyme disease that you had before because that's gone. That's long history. But you're doing something on if you're like most people, you're doing something on a regular basis that's suppressing your immune system. Probably lots of things that are suppressing your immune system, and that's good news because those are things that you can control. You can't control the Lyme disease, that's history, but you can control what you're doing on a regular basis that is suppressing your immune system. And I'll give you just one classic example. Probably the most powerful immune suppressant that we use on a regular basis is plain old white sugar. It's simple as that. That's one of the most powerful immune suppressants there are. There's others, of course, and I'll tell you about a couple here in a minute, but I just want you to recognize that white bread and flour and cereal and pasta and potatoes and rice and any snack foods, etc., you know what I'm talking about. All of these foods are powerful immune suppressants. They're just as powerful as Lyme's disease, okay? Just as powerful as any other immune suppressant that you think about in terms of what we're affected by, viruses and such. So restricting, and you have power over this, you have control over this. So restricting your intake of these kinds of foods is extremely, extremely important. And the easiest way to wean yourself off of these kinds of immune suppressing white flours and sugars, etc., is to eat more protein and to make sure you're using lots of good butter. Butter and good protein, good fat and good protein are the fastest, easiest ways to wean yourself off of the foods, the sugary, white, floury foods that suppress the immune system. Step number 1. Step number 2, helping your body process sugar. Very important, and it turns out that the nutrients that help your body process sugar also help the immune system as well. No coincidence. Using the B complex of vitamins, which you'll find in generous, copious, large amounts in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So I'd be sipping on that Beyond Tangy Tangerine all day long. The omega fatty acids, essential fatty acids, also build the immune system. So make sure you're using your Ultimate EFA. In fact, get on the Healthy Start Pack. That's a great strategy for helping build the immune system. Don't forget your Z Radical or Fucoidan Z. Fucoidan is a wonderful immune system booster. It also will help wean you off sugar. It's got anti-diabetic properties as well. And then the Ultimate Selenium is a superstar, and I do mean superstar immune boosting mineral. It's a key component of something called glutathione. And glutathione is the body's natural cancer fighter, natural disease fighter, natural anti-infective, natural healing chemical. And selenium acts like a little battery that activates the glutathione. So you got lots of great strategies there for you. You can't do anything about the Lyme disease from long ago, but you can do a lot by using nutritional supplements today and by weaning yourself off of the immune-busting sugary white flour types of foods. And those are all things that you have in your control. Thanks so much for your call. Appreciate it. Let's see if we can get one more call in, Doug.
We've only got about 30 seconds here.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, happy holidays, my friend. I hope everybody out there has a good holiday season as well. If you're interested in losing weight, or better yet, not even gaining the weight during the holiday season, I know of no better strategy than to get yourself on a nutritional supplement program, one that features high concentrations of micronutrients, one like the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, one like the Healthy Start Pack, all the fine products from Longevity. And what's more, if you want to start a longevity business, recommending and suggesting these products and suggesting these strategies to help your friends lose weight, to help your friends get off their medication, to help your friends feel better, to help your friends wean themselves off of the refined carbohydrates and the sugars and all the crappy foods we tend to eat during the holiday season, we'll pay you for it. We'll pay you to recommend and suggest to your friends. Start yourself a longevity business, make some money, and earn some thank you checks and get your products at the wholesale price to boot. Thanks for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben for Doug Winfrey and for Dr. Wallach and all the folks at the ZBS Radio Network. Have a wonderful, spectacular, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.